My pronouns are they, them, and I do not have a husband, nor do I want one. Um, I'm trying to limit the amount of talking I do because I am getting close to being nonverbal for the night, and so I'm trying to limit the amount of talking that I do so that I don't cause myself to end up nonverbal due to stressors or overstimulation from other people. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them if I am able to, but I can't guarantee that I will be verbal the entire time, so I'm just letting you know ahead of time. My autism has a kind of slight detour of being nonverbal at times, so I have select mutism that happens from time to time when I'm overwhelmed, stressed, or overstimulated, but I will try to respond and trying to keep myself calm for the majority of my stream. Hello? trying to get my mouse out of the thing. I'll try and check out your channel real quick. Oh, you've been streaming since 2018. I've only been streaming since, I believe the end of 2020, beginning of 2021 is when I started streaming. Oh, you got some pretty good art. I'm gonna follow. Got a nice style. It's a Viking thing. Okay, I was like, Kevin. Okay, it's a Kevin thing. Okay, wow. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. I thought it's a Viking thing. I'm like, huh, neat. Okay. I usually try to like trim my sideburns, cause yeah, that's just a hassle in itself. Like I try to shave where my sideburns come down because in high school it always got pointed out to me by guys. They'd be like, "Nice sideburns," and I'd be like, "At least I can grow facial hair." That's like the least I could say for you. Yeah. Uh, it was something I got picked on for in high school. Guys pointed out my sideburns, and I'm just like, look, I grow facial hair, but I can't help that. It's literally a hormone imbalance in my body. Like at the time, I didn't respond to the people who would say that to me. I just cried. But now I'm like, I have the perfect comeback. After 16 years, I have the perfect comeback for this. But yeah, it's like something really bad happens in high school and you don't have a comeback at the moment. Then 16 years later, you're like, oh shit, I should have said that in the moment. That would have been really good to come back with. Well, I don't have a time machine nor a TARDIS, so we can't fix this. Yeah, it's like ADHD at its finest. Whenever you're like, I've got this, my brain's taking a little bit to load up. It's like Internet Explorer. It took me 16 years to load one thing. I've been told my closet's like a TARDIS before because like people are just like, how many cosplays you have? So I open my closet, I start pulling out cosplay after cosplay after cosplay. I'm like, look, look, look. I'm not even halfway done. They're just like, is your closet a TARDIS? I'm like, no, I just know how to pack things in a closet. I've done that for years. It's like I did that for a lot of high school. I kept everything in the closet. If you get the joke, you get the joke. If you don't, it's okay. Go have a mimosa and we'll talk about it. I actually don't drink, but I make the joke because there are people that are like, "But you're over 21. You should drink, right?" I'm like, "Heh, heh. Me plus that equals bad. No." My mental health is not healthy enough for me to have even a shot. So like if I try, my brain just goes meow. Yeah, I am over 21. I am 29. I'll be 30 next year. Most people are like, "What? You were guessing 18 or 19?" Yeah, a lot of people assume that I've had middle schoolers at bus stops approach me saying, "Hey, class was great today, wasn't it?" And me just go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like I am literally 4'9", so I'm like getting off of the transit bus, and like these middle schoolers walk past me, and I'm like, what type of hormones are they feeding these kids? Did they like get them a bunch of milk in school? Like what's going on? It's like they're so tall. And I'm just like, well, no wonder everyone assumes I'm in middle school. I wear a backpack, I'm 4'9", and I don't even pass for half the height of these high schoolers. some of them are like 6'7". I'm just like, how? How are you able to be tall? I am vertically challenged here. Like gravity and the floor, they have become my friend. Whereas this height thing and reaching the top of this tree, not my thing apparently. I have to climb to get to that shit. Thanks. I was just doing some vent art. And it's just kind of a comic style I've done for 12 years. Um, I didn't really go to school for art. I actually did art a lot of my life, and I took a lot of art classes and was in art club, but even the art classes, teachers would always be mad at me for finishing my projects too fast, and they'd be like, "You need to take your time. You're supposed to spend a week on this. You spent an hour on it." I'm like, "Yes, and it's completed, and I turned it in. The assignment is finished. My job here is done. I got it done. It's in on time. I'm not late." But in college, I tried to go for a dual major, and I was trying to get a dual major in both the medical field and the art field, graphic design and nursing. And so I took like medical courses and stuff and passed with A's and got certified in phlebotomy, which is it's the lab work assistant and person who works in the labs in the hospitals and comes in and is like, "Hey, yeah, I hate to be the bad guy here, but we're here to kind of get some labs from you." Yeah, I know this is not my favorite part either. Look, I'm not a sadist here. I don't want to do this to you, but it's necessary. Not my fault. Like, you're in the ER. I'm not, but I have to do this to make sure you're okay. Kind of just that was something I studied for. I was trying to go into like EMT and nursing type stuff, and I was getting certified and stuff. I also was trying to major in graphic design, and it turned out that our college, since it was a community campus college, um, they didn't have the graphic arts places on the community campus. So they're like, if you want to take the graphic arts part of this, thanks for the follow. If you want to take the graphic arts part of this, you're going to have to go all the way to the main campus, up like 2 hours away from here. And I'm just like, yeah, so what else well, what all does that like require of me? Because I don't want to drive back and forth 2 hours every day. Oh, no, you don't have to drive every day. You just got to live on campus in the dorms. Oh, cool. Is that like covered by my Pell Grant and FAFSA? Oh, yeah, no. No, it's not. But you get to live on campus. I'm like, you lost me. You lost me. I cannot afford this tuition. My mental health got so bad from stressors going on in life that I ended up dropping out of college in my third year because for one, I had a major car wreck happen to me that caused me a lot of trauma with driving, and two, a lot of other trauma stuff that I would not feel is safe for work addressing on stream. So, college became something I had to put on the back burner, and it was just like, It was just like I would have loved to finish college. I would have loved to actually been able to go to like my dream college, which was an art institute, and like do culinary arts and graphic design. That was what I originally had set into plan. Then I felt like, oh, I want to help people in the medical field because people get mistreated and need to be treated with human decency and kindness and compassion and actually treated like a decent human being. But um medical field is very stressful, and it's just a lot for the people that like actually work in those areas and departments. Like if you're working as a nurse, if you're working as an emergency staff, night nurse, practitioner, whatever, those jobs are severely stressful. Like you have to be able to multitask well. You have to be able to work under pressure. I don't work under pressure. I don't. Like my anxiety goes, "Hey, yeah, we're checking out." I don't know how some of them do it either. I know that it takes a lot of patience and a lot of tolerance. Two things I lack. But um um currently I've been doing graphic arts. Even before I was in college, I've been doing graphic arts, like drawing on computer screens for, I want to say, 12 years. Like, but I've been doing other traditional mediums ever since like middle school. I've been drawing a lot. Like I used to work very well under pressure. I had some very high pressure type jobs before I couldn't work anymore. And I was able to work well under pressure. I worked very physical jobs, and then all of life stress and job stress got to me. So 14 hospitalizations later. Apparently you break down too many times at work and they decide you're not able to work. Yeah. I tried working a job after 4 years of not working a job. I tried working a job in 2020. Oh, yeah, I picked the great time to start working right when everything shit hits the fan. Like, I'm just like, ah, yes, this is an ideal time to work. Let's try it. So, of all places, I decide, let's go work at Walmart. We worked at Walmart before. This will be fine. No, it was not. So we worked at Walmart, and I was like, yeah, so I'm disabled. I haven't worked in 4 years. These are my list of accommodations. I do go nonverbal when I'm overwhelmed or overstressed, so there is times I'm not able to verbally communicate with the customers. Oh, and I have a lot of physical limitations, so I can't do heavy lifting, and I won't be able to stand for long hours because I have chronic pain and back issues. So if you could accommodate, that'd be really great on my part, because you'd be treating me like a decent human being and a decent employee here. And Walmart basically was just like, oh, yeah, we see that you have all these like restrictions and limitations, but we're going to put you in these positions that are still going to require to go against your limitations. And you're not getting accommodations until we get this like approved by head, like Segwick and stuff. And I'm like, okay, how long is that's gonna take? You got to get a doctor's note, get doctor's written approval, get them to contact Segwick, then you got to get Segwick to take time to actually approve your accommodation. And I'm like, cool, awesome. So I'll go through all this work. So I went through the work, and they finally approved accommodation. They're like, here's this like wobbly, rusty ass, old, almost breaking down stool you get to sit on. I'm like, so, okay, this is my accommodation. Yep. Do I get to use it all the time I need it? No. You still have to get up and greet the customers that come into the self checkouts. You still have to get up and guide people to self checkouts that are open. So do I actually get to sit down? Oh yeah, you can sit when there's not customers around. But this is Walmart. There's always customers around. Oh, that's not our problem. we gave you a accommodation. I'm just like, yes, you gave me accommodation that I'm supposed to use while working. Yeah, but that's just, we're not getting in trouble for it because we gave you your accommodation. They do not care. Like, literally, they don't care. I sat on that stool like for like after a month. I had to wait a month of like physical pain and breaking down every day due to physical pain, and then finally got my accommodation that I barely got to use. Then around October, they decided to take away self checkout host, and are like, "Oh, by the way, we're going to be moving you to another section since we took away that position in the store." Okay, where you gonna have me? Well, we'll have you on the doors, checking people in, doing counts and mask count, making sure people come in and wear a mask and do all that stuff. And we'll have you out there keeping track of people that come in. Okay, but do I get to sit out there? No, you don't get to sit out there. You're going to have to stand and take notes on this notepad. Like this little digital thing tracking the number of people. And I'm just like, cool. So what if a customer doesn't want to wear their mask? Well, try to ease them into safety precautions. Like try to get them to cooperate. You realize this is Arkansas, and no one's gonna give a fuck about wearing a mask, right? Like these people do not give a shit. Okay. I'm supposed to go out there and deal with people who literally are are like carrying live carry because it's Arkansas, and people that have very bad anger issues because you in the South. And especially like one day I was doing my job at the doors, greeting people, and this guy is coming in not wearing a mask. I'm fully masked. I'm immunocompromised, and this guy's not wearing a mask. And I'm like, sir, do you have a mask? And he's like, I don't need a fucking mask. And I'm like, well, I'm supposed to enforce the safety precautions with our store so that everyone is safe. I'm not gonna wear a goddamn mask. You ask me again, I'm gonna punch you. And like approaches me to try and punch me as like a customer, and I'm just like, it's fine, sir. Just go into the store. I'm just doing my job. Don't ever ask me to wear a fucking mask again, you fucking liberal. And I'm like, okay, cool. I fear for my safety. Cool, very cool. Like, yeah, like this dude came at me and then went inside. It was like an older guy too. Not to mention whenever I was working Halloween, they had me passing out candy to like the kids and stuff, and that requires you to be standing and walking around passing out the candy at my spot. And I had my stool in my spot where I was supposed to sit whenever there was no customers. This older heavyset gentleman sits down on my stool right by the register, and he's like, "Oh wow, I'm so glad they have a goddamn chair in this place for me to sit down. Everywhere else in the store there's nothing for me to sit on, and they need to bring back those fucking benches." And I'm just like, yeah, sir. We're just we're taking precautions during a global pandemic, kind of we're trying to limit the spread of the virus here. Yeah, well, it's ridiculous. They should totally have more chairs in this place. And I'm just over here like, yes, sir. Are you enjoying your seat? I know it's been a very long day and your wife has a lot she's checking out. Yeah, I'm just waiting on her to check out so we can go. But I'm glad they had this chair here. Me, mentally, internally, screaming, going, that's my fucking chair. This dude stole my chair. The hell? I can't get mad at him. I can't get angry at him. I can't go off on him or I lose my job. It's like the customer is always to be treated right and has to have the right of way on this. And it's like, yes, but they are invading a disabled person's like accommodations. Like, what do you do in that situation? Well, you allow the customer to do what they're doing, and you address the issue with the manager later, and the manager won't do anything about it. Like, I had that, and then like around October, after starting late August, early September, um, in October, they finally told me, "Hey, have you been doing your temp check-ins when you come in?" And I said, "What do you mean doing temp check-ins when we come into the store?" "Oh yeah, every time you come in and you clock in the morning, before you clock in, you've got to do a temperature check and make sure you're not running any fever or having any symptoms. It's a like a policy thing we do for health and safety." I'm like, "No one told me this when I started. No one explained this to me whenever I started, like almost 2 months ago." And they're like, "Well, it was just common sense, and you should have noticed that if you were coming in the right door." And I'm like, "I was just told to come in through the doors. You didn't specify which doors that we were supposed to come in. And now I've got to enter through the garden center and get my temperature taken every day?" "Yes, that's what we're supposed to do with all of our employees." "Okay." And so I start taking my temperature, and like a week after I start taking my temperature, I realize one of the days I'm running a fever at work, and I'm having symptoms that are asymptomatic for like COVID and stuff. And I let my boss know. I'm like, "Hey, yeah, my temperature was a fever, and I do have some symptoms that are going on here, so I need to go get tested, and I have to quarantine." And the manager's like, "Okay, well, go get tested. How come you didn't do this sooner? How come you didn't go and get your temperature checked sooner, like 2 months ago?" And I'm like, 2 months ago, no one informed me when I started work. So I'm going to go get tested. I will let you know the results, and I'm going to quarantine for 2 weeks. And so I quarantined and got the results, and they were negative for COVID. And then I contacted my manager, and at the time I was going through a lot of medical tests with like checking for breast cancer and stuff. And I let my manager know, "Hey, I've let you know that I have medical appointments. I've let you know that I have asked off for the days of the medical appointments in advance, like 2 months in advance, and that these are very important and that I had to get them done. But you scheduled me on the day of the test I'm supposed to get done, so um, what do you want me to do?" "Well, are you able to come back to work?" "Legally, yeah, I've quarantined for 2 weeks. I can come back to work, but am I going to be put in a position that I can actually work?" "Well, we've put you everywhere in the store that we can physically put you, and you have so many limitations that there's not really anything else we can do with you, and you're not willing to work with us in positions that we offer you." And I'm like, "Okay, a lot of the positions that you offer me literally push against my limitations and put me in a kind of hazardous position for my health and other people's health. Like, it's dangerous to request those of me." "Well, we've done everything we can. So you can either cooperate and take the positions that we're offering you and work with us regardless, or you can turn in your vest and badge and just kind of go home for the day." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And the manager said, "Look, we've put you everywhere in the store that we could physically put you, and all of these things go against all your limitations and stuff, and there's not really any other positions that we have for someone with all these limitations. So we're not firing you, but if you want to work in those positions, we'll let you keep working." And I'm like, "I literally can't work in those positions. I've literally gotten a concussion at work before because trying to do physical labor and help a customer because no other employees were around, lifting over 50 pounds and giving them to the customer because a customer needed to check out as quickly as possible and there was no one else around in lawn and garden." "Well, you should have waited for a manager or someone to help." "Okay, but waiting for someone to help would have taken too long since all the CSMs were busy and other employees were busy, and not to mention this customer was kind of very in a hurry and yelling at me. So I don't do well with people yelling at me. It's sort of a trigger. Okay. So now you're letting us know that you have triggers and you're working at a job that could potentially trigger you due to some of the customers that come in. Yes, I have triggers. I have mental health issues that I am going to therapy for and I am getting help with. However, my brain functions a little differently than most of the people here. So I'm letting you know that there are still going to be people working in jobs and positions despite having triggers because they want or need to work. Like, it's not that we don't want to, it's that we are still willing to do it even if it's putting ourselves in danger. Like, I understand people need money. Like, I haven't been able to work since that job because I physically could not handle the physical strain on my joints and physically could not handle the pain. I've lost like 40 pounds since then, and that didn't help. It got worse. But um, basically, any other jobs I looked into, I was like, yeah, since I'm on disability, I can only work a certain number of hours. I can't work full time. I can only work this many hours per day and only have this much income per week. And the jobs I would apply at are like, oh, well, we need you to be available like whenever you're being called, or you need to be able to stand for 8 hours straight. And I'm just over here like, well, I can't physically do that because I will be in immense pain and end up in the ER. But do you have any positions that work with limitations? No. Most every job I'd apply for after that's like, we don't do special accommodations for people that can't stand long periods of time. If you're going to be working here, this is a very physical job. Most of the jobs available are very physical jobs. And I'm like, cool, awesome, cool. And like Walmart even went so far as to be like, yeah, we're not going to work you full time because we know you have hour restrictions and that you can only work a certain amount of time. So we're just going to work you, 20 to 24 hours per week when you're only supposed to work 18 hours a week. And I'm just over here like, this is going to push me over my income limit for disability. Oh, no, it's fine. We'll adjust it and we'll take taxes out and we'll get you to where you're not making over what you don't need to make. We got this. It's fine. Did you realize I can lose my benefits for you trying to work me full time, right? No, we're not working you full time. Legally, you are working under 30 hours, so it's not full time. Yes, but part time is literally not even the amount of hours that you're giving me currently. Oh, no, it's fine. It's still part time. It's not part time. And do you have a way to drive to work if we request you come in that day? A way to drive to work? I haven't driven since 2016, man. Like, you want me to drive to work? I don't drive. Oh, do you have a roommate or someone that can bring you? Can you take public transit? I'm like, I can take public transit if I need to, but generally I would have to go in when my roommate goes into work in the morning and wait for them to go to lunch for me to go home. Oh, well, then you have a way here. Not really. They don't get to take a lot of time off during lunch. So it was just, Walmart was not a great place to work for. And eventually I went back to just crafting a whole bunch of stuff due to anxiety issues and trying to find ways to not think about thoughts I've struggled with since I was 13. And so I've crafted a lot of stuff, and people were like, "Oh, that's neat. You've made a lot of things. Are you like selling these?" I'm like, "No, I actually just kind of craft a bunch of shit and it just piles up. And there's like a lot of things. you should really like go to an art event and sell this stuff. Like people would buy this. You make a lot of it. I'm like, I guess I could try that. So like 2021, I apply for, was it 2021? Yeah, 2021. I apply for the Christmas event that goes on, like an LGBT Christmas event in downtown, and I'm like, okay, this is my first event doing something like this. This is my first time being out in like a public space around people, trying to show them all my art stuff and stuffed animals and like jewelry I've made. And I don't feel like I'm going to do that well. Well, turned out like one of the groups that advertised me on Instagram, because they're like, do you have pictures of stuff you make? I'm like, yeah, I make these sensory friendly stuffed manta rays and stuff that are helpful for people with like sensory issues and anxiety. And um they're like, we got this, just keep doing what you do and you'll do well at the event. And I'm like, okay. So I get to the event, Christmas event, and I'm there, and like a bunch of people after I'm set up, they show up at my booth and are like, hey, you're the person on Instagram, you're the person that had all those little manta ray plushies and the sea pancakes, do you have those? And I'm like, yeah, they're right there on the table. And like I sold out of all of those plushies in like the first 4 hours. And it was just like, holy shit. Because I had an art event planned for the next day as well in a different town that my roommate was driving me to, and I had advertised the plushies at that event too. And the thing is, I was hand sewing everything because my sewing machines had been broken, so I couldn't just hand sew plushies overnight. So I had sold out at the event the day before, and I was like, uh-oh. Um People are going to be looking for these at the next art event. I don't have any more for right now. Oh no. What have I done? And then after that event, people on Instagram are like, "Hey, there's local events happening in your town that are like art on the bricks things that they do every month. You should try doing those." And I'm like, I guess I could, but I'm like, I don't know how those are gonna go, how people are gonna react to my stuff, and it's local art event, and I did one in Christmas, and I don't think people are gonna want stuff after Christmas. And then I went to it, and people are like, "Hey, you're the person that makes those manta rays and sea pancakes, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've stocked a few since then. Why? We're looking for those." And I'm like, "Okay, do you have a business card?" Not currently. So 2 events later, I had business cards made that I drew up, that I printed off, that I cut out, and people are like, right now I am almost completely out of business cards because every event people have taken a business card that needed a business card. Let me see. I have a few examples of stuff I make in the garage that I can go grab real quick. I want to finish writing this. One moment. Thanks. I'm not very active on my Discord, but I try to be sometimes. So these are some samples of what I make. Because I didn't want to bring in the 5-foot sea pancake because that would take up like a lot of space. But that's the biggest sea pancake I have made. And currently, so right now, I have brought in a travel size. Yeah, I made a 5-foot sea pancake because one time, a friend of mine over in the UK asked, "Hey, what is the biggest sea pancake you have made?" And I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I've got the 3-foot ones. Have you ever made a human-sized sea pancake?" And I'm like, "No, but it's doable. If I had the material and time, I can make one." They're like, "Okay, well, I look forward to seeing that." And I'm like, I plan on doing it eventually, and I will. So around Christmas and stuff, I made not Christmas, but like March. Yeah, March. I made a 5-foot sea pancake, and people haven't even bought it yet. And I'm just like, "Hey, it's person. Hi, person." And I'm streaming on Twitch and also doing. Someone asked like what I made and stuff, so I was gonna show like things I made. And so this is a travel size sea pancake. It's got a little butter and stuff on it, like just little travel size that people can like put in their pocket and things. Hey, long time no see. Sea pancake. It's a tiny travel size ones. Most of the other ones have different colored eyes. I also have a little cotton candy manta. As like this has a little fluffy blue underbelly. Also got these starry mantas that have the silver on them. It's not like a rough texture either. It's super soft. But it's the ones with the stars on them and silver eyes are to show that there's always a silver lining. I also do cookie cats. These are all things I've hand sewn and stuff. I stuff the cookie cats enough to where they're like little stress balls, cute stress balls. No, I'm not going to the con in Little Rock this weekend. One, I don't have a ride there. Two, I don't have the money. And three, I have an art event Thursday here in Rogers. And Thursday before the art event, I'm finding out when my major surgery is. The doctors finally approved a hysterectomy for me. And the thing is, there's a few issues with that surgery. So they're willing to do the procedure, but because of my burst appendix when I was 6, my ovaries embedded themselves in my pelvic wall and basically buried themselves to where they're not where they're supposed to be. So it's actually very high risk for me to have the procedure. So we're figuring out what we're going to do. Basically, the doctor is refusing to remove the ovaries. He'll remove everything else, but not the ovaries. The reason being is that if he tries, if he tries to remove the ovaries, like if it is medically necessary that the ovaries have to come out, for me, it's life or death. That's basically the bottom line, is that if the ovaries come out, I bleed out and die. And I'm just like, look, I just thought my doctors were trying to scare me with how like they were telling me this is a very high risk procedure. You could die. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. You're just trying to scare me away from wanting to get this done, right? And then the doctor like shows me and addresses this, and I'm like, oh shit, you were not kidding there about it being like that. Holy shit, I was trying to take this lightheartedly and like not think too seriously on this, like with the risk and stuff, and now you're legitimately giving me reasons as to what will happen if this happens and is necessary. Holy shit. cue, cue like the nervous laughter and the meme with Tony Stark going. I will be careful and I will be safe. I've got a lot made for the art event Thursday that I'm gonna try and have out there for people, and I'm gonna try and keep doing art events until the surgery takes place, and then I'm going to give myself a lot of time to recover, take care of myself as best as I can, and just kind of try and grasp this and kind of let my mind find a distraction. I'm good at distractions. I have ADHD, so I'm good at distractions. I'm not lacking in that department. I'm not lacking in that department at all. Like I'm easily distracted. Like just like basic functioning each morning. Okay, we need to take our meds. Okay, we've taken our meds. Oh yeah, we need to go feed the cats. Oh yeah, we fed the cats. Oh yeah, we need to start our laundry. Oh yeah. Wait, we need to go unload the dishwasher. Hold on. We need to make breakfast. Oh yeah, wait, we still need to put up our laundry. Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, we need to finish cleaning up the cat stuff. Oh, wait. We need to be able to wake up our roommate in time for work. Um, do this thing, then do that thing. Oh shit, I need to drink water. It's like this is what you're supposed to be doing. My brain. Ah yes, this list. You give us a list. We see this list. This is have a good time. I was like it's like this list, you give us this list. Yeah, we see the list. Yeah, we've added like 15 things to it for you. What do you mean you've added 15 things to it for me? Well, we see this list. You have like 5 things? Yeah, there's like 15 different things in between. I didn't put those on the list. Well, they're now important and you now have to do them. Cool. This is gonna take me all day. Good job. Good luck. You were right on the money with that one. And thanks for stopping by. I hope that you have a good night and that you stay safe as well. Mentioned hydrating and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that. Whoops. Um, apologies. I'm also streaming on TikTok and I have a friend I've known for a bit. They met me at a Comic-Con. It was their first con this year and I'm like, "Hi, I've been going to conventions for 10 years. I have social anxiety now. But hi, it's nice to meet you and your awesome cosplay and stuff. Do you want to hang out?" And like they got to know me, I got to know them a little bit. I'm like, this is a really cool person, and we kind of like click on a level of like personality. This is good. Like I've got this. I was sorry, I got distracted. I also make bats for like Halloween and stuff. I've got these, and I've got ones that glow in the dark. So the orange ones that have the pumpkins, the pumpkin fabric actually glows in the dark, and people can like message me on Instagram or Facebook and stuff, and they're able to place orders with me through PayPal and stuff. But the glow in the dark bats, the pumpkins glow in the dark, I found it really neat because I came across this fabric and I'm like, oh, this is nice looking Halloween fabric. This would be awesome for the bats. So I do the bats. And then I read on the label of this fabric when I'm getting the fabric that it glows in the dark, and I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. Because, like, I just wanted some really cool, like, looking Halloween pattern, but this glows in the dark? Oh, people are gonna love that. Like, I love that. Like, I like glow in the dark stuff, so I was like, hell yeah. And I also have, like, dessert type bats that are sprinkle bats. They're, like, I've got little, I finally found sprinkle patterned fabric, and so I made little sprinkle bats that are pink, and I also have white ones, and then this one has like purple eyes. And then I've got I made these a couple months ago. I have a whole basket full of lemons. The reason being, life gives you lemons, and sometimes the lemons are not too happy with life, sometimes the lemons are a little bit ticked. Just a little bit. You can see his little anger mark there. And then sometimes life gives you a bit of depresso lemons. And so it's like depresso. And then sometimes life lemons are just way too happy. Like it was, they're just a few things that I make. And it was funny because, like, I always hear people making jokes about when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And I'm like, when life gives me lemons, I make plushies and make jokes. Life gave me lemons, and some of them look pissed off. Just like they have reason. They have reason to be pissed off. I'll save as. Should be. Okay, so 17. But yeah, I love puns. I love making puns. I think the lemons are turning against me. Wow, the lemons have gone sour. I know that was bad. I made a dad joke. I'm not even a parent. I mean, I've got cats. If it weren't for the fact that I'm gender fluid and genderqueer and non-binary, maybe I'd be a trans parent. That's terrible. But I like puns a lot, so much that like whenever okay, whenever whenever I was making pride puns. Great, I ruined the punchline there. When I was making pride pins, um I made a bunch of pride puns. Let me see if I have them. Are they in here? Yes, they are. So, whenever it was. Let's see. Whenever it was getting close to Pride Month, people asked if I was carrying pride pins, and I was like, well, not yet, but I'm going to make some. So I made a bunch, and then they're like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I even made some puns. And they're like, oh, you made puns? I'm like, yeah, some pride puns. Are they too gay for you? So, let's see. I've got that one, that one, that one, and that one, that one, that one. Maybe that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. Okay. I'm gonna have a bit of stuff showing up on the screen. So I have a pin I had done a design for way bit back of a trans flag of with Sylveon on it from Pokemon because Sylveon's colors are trans pride colors, and so I incorporated that before it was even a like public thing that Sylveon is now the trans mascot. Um, but then I also did like Ace, Ace ones that are Space Ace. And I did these, which I do have some of them left. I can always make more. But I did like a button that says I am chaos. There's a Mothman button, Mothman's future partner, vote Mothman, gay gremlin, cryptid NB, gay fae. It's a transplant because it's a trans flag on a pot with a plant in it. And then I've got male, female, non-binary, chaos, and the chaos is check marked. I don't have a gender. I have chaos. And then ADHD, my anxiety in me, was kind of a spin on the joke I made one time about ADHD, my anxiety in me, the musical, now coming to a theater near you. On Broadway. Gee. Where is that? Oh, you got put down there again? Put that up over here. Sorry, I got like there, yeah. And then let's see over here. I also had the pancake button, and then I've got all the different pride flags, including polyamorous. I don't have an ace flux button yet. I need to eventually make an ace flux button. I have a please stand by because it's like the standby symbol, but it's in bisexual like colors for standby. Then a non-binary, I am fluid, which I think I did another one. There's that one. Then I have one that's fragile, handle with care. And then I've got the D20s, because Dungeons and Dragons, and dice goblins, because I have a dice hoard. I keep it in my desk. I have like 13 chest cases full of dice and a bag full of ones I've made myself. Like, I have a lot of dice. But I'm always up for more dice. Just like I have me when I see a new dice set release, I'm like, no, we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. We have enough dice. We have enough dice. We have enough. Well, maybe one more dice set won't hurt us. You know, just like it'll be fine. 20 dice sets later. I just like the click clack math rocks. It's fine. It's fine. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Okay, but can you stand not getting a dice set each year? I mean, that's a huge commitment to ask of me to not get. Okay, but what if someone offers me dice? Do you need the dice? Well, I mean, no. Are you using these dice for your characters? I use a specific set for each character. How many campaigns are you in? One. How many characters are you running? One. So how many dice sets do you need? 20? I need one for each of their moods. Do you? Do you need one for each of their moods? Obviously, I mean, if you're gonna be like that, shit. I'm not inviting you to the tea party, jeez. Let's see if I roll for initiative. What was it? It was from Borderlands 2. Hello, Vault Hunter, and welcome to the tea party. It seems we're missing our guest of honor. I need you to bring Flesh Stick to the party. He is a very important guest. Oh, and on the way, can you pick up Sir Reginald and Princess Fluffybutt? Sir Reginald and Princess Fluffybutt. Do you have a description of these characters? Oh, Sir Reginald is a distinguished gentleman, and you will find him over there, past that fort, and you must destroy those... What was it? You must destroy those psychos and bandits whenever you arrive. And don't forget, after you have acquired Sir Reginald and Princess Fluffybutt and you have brought Flesh Stick to the party, remember to set up the badonkadonks by the train tracks. Sets up the badonkadonks by the train tracks. These are literally giant bunnies strapped to bombs. Like, what are we doing to the train tracks, Tina? Now we're counting down in 10, 9, click. I got bored. You were gonna give a countdown of 10 seconds and you got bored. Don't judge me. No cookies for you. It seems you brought me the cookies, Vault Hunter. Good job, good job. Yes, my favorite, chocolate chip cookies, the only true champion dessert. Wait a minute. These are not chocolate chip cookies. They're oatmeal raisin. What have you done? I have a lot of quotes memory. I have a lot of quotes memory. Wow. Hi, function. refreshing. So I have a lot of quotes memorized for Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2 because that was a cosplay I did at one of the conventions I went to years ago. I had modified a Nerf gun to look like one of the weapons that Tiny Tina gets in the game, like gives you and stuff, and I made it kind of steampunk looking with gears and stuff, and I use like little fairy lights and stuff for like the iridium glow, and it was really cool. And I plan to eventually do Tiny Tina cosplay again sometime, but like that I haven't even gotten to play 3 yet, and I know that Tina, whenever she's grown up in 3, is just a little bit more psycho than the 13-year-old Tina in 2, but I haven't even got to play Wonderlands yet. I don't even have Wonderlands. I want to play it cuz it looks good. But like Tiny Tina Wonderlands, I'm just like, I want, looks at the price. I'll wait. I watched my younger brother play through 3, and I watched my roommate play through 3. I think they played, no, they just started 3. Okay. So I've watched my roommate play through, I think they played through 2 and the prequel and the one up in space, like the backs. It was like the backstory, Handsome Jack's story. That is the whole thing. I watched them play through that, and I've I have Borderlands 2 on my PC. My PC is a POS, so I can't really play it very often on my computer, but I have it on my PS4 as well. I might actually play it sometime again. But I have, let's see, I have Borderlands 2 for my PC and PS4. I have BioShock Collection 1 through 3 on my PC. I also have Little Big Planet 3 on PS4, Little Big Planet 1 and 2 on PS3. I have Minecraft because Minecraft is just, it's a good game, and I played it whenever the beta came out in 2010, 2011. Um it's changed a lot. But um I have a lot of games even on my PC, and people are like, "Well, why don't you stream games? Why don't you play games?" And I'm like, "Okay, so playing games. I like games. Yes, I like games. I like even Nintendo classic games and emulation games. I like them. I like Legend of Zelda. I've played a lot of the games in the series. However, finding the motivation and time to get myself to actually get on a game console or get on my PC and be like, all right, today we game. We game. Hey, I could be drawing something. Just like, it's like, I want to game. Do you? I do, but also I have art projects that aren't finished. Okay, but when are you going to sit down and play your video games? Um, we have predicted a very appropriate time frame for this. Oh, what time frame do you have for your gameplay time? When are you gonna play video games on stream? The time for that? Yeah, I have a time for that. Eventually, eventually, you have a your time frame is eventually. When exactly does this eventually designate a time slot? Eventually. Hi, Mystic. What you? No, 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 no. You tapping me on the shoulder. I know you tapping me on the shoulder. Yeah, that's Mystic. She's very needy. She has pica, so she chews on everything. Yeah. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Are you gonna come up here? Come here. Come here. No, no. Is it too far for you? Is it too far away for you? Uh. Yeah, I used to do I do a comic type style. I've done it for 12 years. Mostly it started as kind of doodling to process my mental thoughts when I was in a hospital for an attempt. And drawing things out was a way I process things, a way to help me process through emotions and things. And one of my stays at a hospital, I had patients asking me, "Hey, why don't you make comic strips? Like, people would read these." And I'm like, people aren't gonna like to read the style I have. They're like, "No, you do really good art. You should just try and publish it or something." I really don't think I'm that good. Try. And I'm like, okay, but like, I'm not guaranteeing this is gonna go anywhere. It didn't really ever go anywhere. So when I first started out comic strips, I did, let's see if it's in here. It's probably in the art one. Let's see. When I started out comic strips, I want to say 10 years ago, I did a bunch of comic strips and I turned them into the newspaper locally, and I also sent them out copies like to 10 different national big newspaper places. And I was like, "Hey, I'm just starting off comic strip art. Some people really like these online. Is there any way you could publish these in the comic strip section of your newspaper?" And I waited for a response. I gave the backstory and like what all is going on with the characters and stuff like that. And a few of them replied back to me, which I threw away the letters that I got back from them only because I was really upset. I got letters back from a few of the really big things like Chicago Tribune, the New York Daily. I got back letters from them at the time saying, "Your art is good. We like your style. We like your comics, but we feel it will not reach the appropriate audience we are gearing towards, and it's not the exact style we are looking to portray in our newspaper. So at this time, we would like you to keep doing what you're doing, but maybe come up with more original content for the newspaper in the future." And I'm like, "Hey, hi." And so I turned in the newspaper. Like I was like, "Come up with more original content." I They don't want to put my style in the newspaper because no one will read it. What? And like over the years, with still continuing to do comic strips, people were like, "Why don't you try to publish these again?" And I'm like, "Do you know how bad rejection hurts the first time? You think I want to go back through that again?" I get pain is sometimes a thing for some people, but that rejection, not my kind of pain. It's like being rejected is one thing. Having your art rejected, that's another thing. Being rejected from a person like, "Oh yeah, you're not my type," that's one thing. Being rejected for your art, it's like, ouch, I showed you my soul and bared my expressiveness to you, and now you're just gonna like toss it in the trash and say it's worthless. Fuck you. Like I get rejection is a thing some people have to deal with, but like I don't know why, but art rejection is a lot harder. And usually with like rejection from people you like in life, you're just like, "Okay, okay, that hurt. I'm a little upset, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep now. Person didn't like me. I like them, and they didn't think we connected, but I felt so much. Fuck. Just like just over here like, I like this person. Yes, but they do not reciprocate the feelings. I know, but I like them. Do you enjoy pain? Is that a trick question? What do you want? Why do you keep getting hurt over and over? I don't know! Why do you allow yourself to get hurt? I don't know! Yeah? Yeah. Mini scream. You scream much. Yeah? Do you want attention? You want attention? You want attention? So do most of the people in the world. Cat's like, yeah, I want attention. So do I. Cat just wants to scream. I'm just like, you want so much attention. So do most of the touch-starved individuals who haven't had a relationship in 7 years. Like, I've had people like ask me, "Hey, do you have like a partner?" I'm like, a relationship? You expect me to be in a relationship with anyone? Do you know my mental state? They're like, "But you have a good personality. People would want to be with that." Ha ha ha. Oh, wow. I don't know if you're serious or if you got like a really dark sense of humor here, buddy. Like, um, literally my last relationship was 7 years ago. It didn't end too great and kind of traumatized me, but um my approach to dating is not the best either because I grew up not having a lot of experience dating and I wasn't shown how to act or what to do or like what was appropriate or anything like that. I wasn't taught how to date because most of my life I was taught you avoid boys, you avoid all people, do not interact with another person or it will lead to babies. And I'm like, I don't think that that's how that logically makes. Okay, I'm just not going to question this at this point. Sure, okay. And basically, even whenever I hit like the end of high school, um, and I started dating towards the end of high school, people were like, "How come you don't want to like physically be approached or like do you not kiss people? Do you not know how to interact?" I'm like, "No, literally, I have no idea what to do here. I have no fucking clue on what you're expecting of me because like I've never done this. Like what am I supposed to do?" Generally people allow for interaction and stuff. Me. Can you say this in layman's terms that I'll understand? You like person, yes? Oh yeah, I like person. You want to hug person? Yeah, hugging's good. You want to kiss person? I mean, kissing I've never kissed, but I guess we could try it out. This is weird. Odd. So, I've only dated 5 guys in my life. Maybe four, hold on. Okay, 4 guys. I've only dated 4 guys in my life. And most of the time, I was always in straight passing relationships, and I didn't have a grasp on dating and didn't know what to do. And so, after 7 years of not being in a relationship, one of my friends this year was like, "Hey, would you like to go on a date?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Because I think did you just, are you trying to ask me out on a date?" "Yes, that is what I just asked you. Do you want to go have dinner sometime and chill and chat? Like, do you want to hang out? Just me and you?" And I'm like, my brain is having a 404 error not found. What the fuck are you asking? Do you want to go on a date? Um, sure, but I'm letting you know I haven't dated in 7 years. That's fine. We'll go and we'll try to have a good time. And I'm like, uh, okay. So we go and they they're like, so what's your favorite food? And I'm like, well, most foods cause me pain or nausea, but I enjoy octopus balls like takoyaki and sushi. And they're like, okay, we will find a restaurant that serves takoyaki in the area. So we go to the one that's supposed to serve it here in town, and they're closed down permanently. And I'm like, well, is there any other food that you would like? They're like, no, we're gonna find the specific food that you wanted to eat because it's one you enjoy. I'm like, yes, I enjoy it, but also it causes me pain. That's okay. At least you're getting to enjoy food. Like, and I'm like, okay, but like, where else are we gonna go? So they like go to their phone and search, and they look up like a place like 45 minutes away, and I'm like, that's a lot of driving. They're like, I just filled up my truck tank, we're good, we're gonna go find this place that serves the octopus balls. And I'm like, you don't have to like go through that much effort for this. Like they're not that important. Like we could like do a local restaurant that you want to do. No, I've already had like a restaurant this week with someone else that I enjoyed. Like we're gonna find the restaurant you enjoyed. I'm like, but I don't like eating out at restaurants. So we travel 45 minutes, basically to the town they live in, and we go to the restaurant there that's supposed to have them, and they have them on the menu, and they have them up on the menu, up where you can see them. And I'm like, hey, they have them. And like he goes to order them off the menu, and the person working there is like, oh, no, 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 we're out of that today. And I'm just like, I'm like, are you sure that it was worth traveling all the way here to do this? Cause like I feel like I just wasted your time. And he's like, no, I'm not giving up. We're gonna find that place. We're gonna find the place here. There's one more thing we can try. One more place that has them here. We will get this for you. And I'm like, this is a lot of effort you are extending in my personal direction here. I am confused as to what's going on. Um, okay, we're gonna go find the restaurant. So we travel another 20 minutes somewhere else in town, and we come to a restaurant, and the restaurant actually has them. And so we go inside the restaurant. I'm like, okay, so we're just like ordering and gonna take out and eat it in like the truck or something. And he's like, we're gonna sit down and you can enjoy the meal and we can like eat inside the restaurant. And I'm like over here like, I'm sorry that I haven't been the best date. I'm sorry that like I can't focus because there's a bunch of noises going on around me, and I am a little bit overwhelmed and overstimulated by all the noises going on because they kind of sensory overload me. And so if I look like I'm not paying attention, I am trying to pay attention to you, but also I don't usually eat inside restaurants. They make me very self-conscious. And like we sat there and we're eating, and I'm like over here nervous because I'm like, there's so many people in here. Pandemic's still a thing, buddy. I'm nervous. So we finished the date, and they gave me a he gave me a Galar Region Ponyta plushie because he knew it was one of the Pokemon plushies I had on my wish list. And I'm like, you got me the plushie? Why did you give me the Pokemon plushie? Well, I was planning on giving it to you for like Christmas or something, but since I was gonna take you out on a date, figured I'd give it to you now. And I'm like, I didn't expect you to get me the Pokemon plushie. I was eventually gonna buy it for myself. Like, thanks. What am I supposed to like say or do in this situation? Well, you're not really required to say or do anything. It's a gift. And I'm like, I like it. I don't want to put it down, but like I like it. And then we went on the trip back home, and I'm like, I'm sorry if the date was not very enjoyable for you. I am not used to dating, and I haven't been on a date in a really long time, and his response was that it's okay. It wasn't a bad time, but I wouldn't say you're the worst person I've ever dated. But I wouldn't say it was the best time either. And you just had a lot of cards stacked against you in the food department here. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And he's like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't try it again sometime in the future, but for right now, I think we're good where we are. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I tried, and people are always telling me you should get out and date, and I'm like, based on my recent experience in that department, I'm gonna have to take a rain check on that because I don't think I'm ready for that. Hey, 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 hey! We are not tearing down posters. You better. So yeah, like, and people will ask me, well, are you into guys or girls? And I'm like, yes. Okay, which one? All of them. What do you mean all of them? All genders. Okay, but what do you like in a person, like physically? Um, okay, so here's the thing. I'm on the asexual spectrum, and physical appearance doesn't necessarily matter to me in that aspect. It's more so connection and knowing the person personally for who they are and the personality, and just kind of, it doesn't have to be a sexual thing with people. And that always throws people off because they're like, wait, what do you mean? What? Whoa, wait, what? Okay, but normal human interaction, you're gonna have like an attraction to them physically, right? Okay, I understand that you're thinking of this in a very standard way of thinking, but I don't really feel a lot of physical attraction to a lot of people. Yeah, but that there's got to be physical attraction in some way, shape, or form for you. No, not really. Do you know how awkward it is when someone's like, "Hey, look at this picture. Is aren't they cute?" Um, I guess. Well, look at their eyes. Look at their hair. Like, what do you like about this person? I don't know. I don't know them. I guess I would say that they're cute by their clothing style's cute. Okay, okay, but look at their face, look at their body. What don't you think they're cute? I mean, everyone has a cute body. Like, even people that are like heavy set or underweight are cute in their own way. Okay, but do you have like a standard that you would like base people's appearances on? No, because their appearance shouldn't matter. I have dated 400-pound guys in the past. I have dated people that are like not even 100 pounds. So, that's not an issue for me. Wait, so why would you date someone so much heavier than you? Because the heavy setness didn't matter to me. It's just more of them to cuddle and just kind of hug on, and lots of cuddles. Like they're cuddly. They're like a giant teddy bear. Bigger people are nice, but smaller people also have good things about them too. Like, I am afraid of breaking them, but that's because I'm heavy set and I always have that fear with people, no matter what size they are. I'm just like, I can't hug you. I'm gonna break your spine. And I've had some people be like, that's okay, break me. I'm like, um, I have a number for a really good psychiatrist that could help you with your issue here. I don't, I should I be concerned? Like, like they're like, but I could just, you could crush me like a robin's egg. I'm like, I don't want to crush anything, buddy. I don't, gee, I would hurt myself in the process of trying to hurt you, and I don't even want to hurt you to begin with. Like, I'm afraid of hurting you just standing next to you. Like, I'm afraid I'm gonna, like, turn around and all of a sudden my arm's gonna smack against you or something. Like I don't have a safe zone here, buddy. So I don't want to inflict that pain on you. And I've had the responses of some people be like, "Well, you have a nice upper area there," and I'm like, uh, cool. Do you know that it makes me dysphoric at times? Oh, that doesn't matter. You were born gifted." And I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was not. This is an uncomfortable subject here. Like, um, it's hard for me to fully understand physical attraction with people because I haven't set a physical attraction standard for myself. I basically see what other people are like personality wise and how I connect with them. And because it doesn't take much for me to like deeply connect with someone because empathy and sympathy, um, I can understand how people feel and understand and sympathize with what they're going through. And so I connect with people a lot quicker than I want to. And it's not always healthy for me, but like I connect really quickly and attach very quickly to people, which is also part of trauma issues. And like these are all comic strips I was doing, and so it's always very weird whenever people are like, "Do you ever feel a physical attraction to people?" I'm like, um, can you try a different Google search here? What do you find attractive as a quality? Personality? Okay, but physical quality. I don't know. I'm an artist. I do a lot of art studies. I guess eyes and hands. Them just kind of looking okay. Okay, but do you find those like attractive? And I'm like, eh, no. Like, I hate whenever people are like, "What do you find attractive?" And I'm just like, one, probably not you being a creep. Two, actually connecting and having a conversation. Three, having a personality, that's a plus, which apparently you're lacking at the moment. Ugh. Like I've had females I have tried like messaging before on like dating apps, and they like, "Hey cutie," and I'm just like, hi, you're cute too. So what are you looking for? I am looking for getting to know you first before we do anything, connecting with you, knowing what your interests and hobbies are. Oh, well, that's not that important right now. Like I run this stuff. This is what I do for work, and I have a lot of pictures I can send you. And I'm like, that's nice, but I'm not really all that concerned with having pictures sent to me. Oh, do you have pictures of yourself? We're not on that level yet. Oh, but we could meet up and have some fun. And I'm just like, I don't drive. Oh, that's too bad. I really need someone that can like come and visit me. And I'm like, hey, same. I don't drive, but thanks for the guilt trip. And I'm just like, we could just talk. And they're like, so what are your standards for someone you're gonna date? Well, one, regardless of how active you are, regardless of what your status is, regardless if you have been active or not, getting tested, that's important. Oh, that's ridiculous to have that standard. Well, It's a safety reason, safety precaution, making sure everyone's safe. Doesn't matter if you have been active recently or not. You could have gotten something in the time that you have not been in a relationship, and I would love to be safe because I'm polyamorous and I try to have respect and safety for all partners involved. Oh, okay. Well, that seems a little too high of standards. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. What are your other standards? And I'm like, well, I would like not to have a fur ball at the end of the night. No fur balls. Just I don't wanna I don't wanna cough off a fur ball. Oh, you expect someone to actually take care of and manage that? Um, yes. Um, is that a problem? Well, I'm not gonna do that. You should accept me naturally like I am. I do accept you naturally like you are, but I also would like to have my boundaries respected as to the texture issues I have, because I can't do certain textures or I freak out. Oh, well, that sounds like a you problem, and you're too much standards for dating, too many standards for like what you are looking for in a person. I'm just not interested. You're the one who messaged me first. Yeah, well, you were interesting at first. Okay, rude. Like they message me and they'll look at my profile picture and be like, "Oh yeah, you're cute." Then I tell them my standards for dating, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, no, you're not cute anymore." It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I set boundaries and have decent respect for all human beings, including myself. Is this a problem for you because I don't have the audacity to disregard my own boundaries and safety just for your entertainment?" Like, that's one thing I've had to realize over the years, even with like past dating experiences. I have to have respect for myself and my boundaries and not just let people do what they want, not just let people run over me and stuff. And it's like it's one of those things where you want to get out and meet people, but once people like learn about what your standards are, they're like, yeah, I could just go out and find someone on a dating app and just start things off with them quickly and easily like that, and you're just like prolonging the interaction we have to take on this. Yes, because it's important for both people to feel comfortable and safe. Oh, well, don't you want to take risks in life? Considering I'm immunocompromised, and if you have something that could potentially harm me or a partner, I don't want that. And safety and not putting myself at risk is important. Oh, so you think I'm gonna hurt you? You think I'm dangerous? And I'm like, well, given the standards you have just shown me and the interaction you have just shown me in this chat, yes, I'm going to tell you now. I don't trust you. And oh my god, that might be such a hard burdening truth for you to hear, that someone doesn't trust you immediately after they meet you. Oh my god, it's something so brand new to you, a brand new concept. You have to grasp that, oh my god, trust has to be earned. Like it's like, "Oh, well you should trust me cuz I'm a nice person." Like, I don't give a shit if you're the nicest person in the room. If I don't trust you, I don't trust you. And you are not going to make me trust you until we have a connection and I actually understand you on a personal level. Until then, I'm just going to be like, okay, so what are your boundaries? What are my boundaries? This is what goes on with this. you've already crossed a few of the boundaries that I have as standard for like wanting to date. So I've already excluded you off this list of potential partners. So letting you know in advance that since you disregarded my boundaries, you get to like kind of see your way out the door, have a fruit snack on the way out. Or have a cinnamon roll because I'm not available. Have a cinnamon roll that you can actually eat. So like the biggest red flag is, but I'm a nice person. No, like really. I've gotten on like chats and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, but not all men. I'm not like other guys." I'm like, "And you done fucked up. You done fucked up. Okay, cool." Or like some people, they're like, but I am a nice person, I would never do that to you. Do you know how narcissists start relationships with people? They love bomb you, they gaslight you into thinking that you're at fault and they're not, and that they're the good person, they're the nice person, and then you end up being mentally abused. Like, don't ever get in those situations. I have unfortunately been in them and they suck. I always tell people I'm a shitty person, but I try not to be. Yeah, like manipulation is a really big thing with narcissists and people that love bomb and are not what you want to have in a relationship. A lot of people that get into situations of like DV, which I have been in the past as well. Um, I literally had an ex get so mad at me, he punched a hole in the wall next to me. Like, I dodged hole in the wall, and that could have been me. And I was just like, you just punched a hole in the wall. Oh, I wouldn't have hit you. You tried to just hit me just now, but I hit the wall. I'm I'm gonna go for a short walk, and I'll be back when the hole in the wall is patched up. So he patches the hole in the wall because his grandma sees it, and I'm just looking at this massive hole that got punched in the wall, thinking to myself, that could have. That was a dodge. That was a massive dodge. And like every time he would tell me, I would never hurt you. You are not the person I would hurt. And I'm like, I don't believe this, okay? I really don't. And people, like friends and stuff, would be like, well, why don't you just leave him? Okay, I'm in a relationship with this dude, and I live like a state away from my mom's house. I don't drive. I have no way to leave this situation without causing a bigger situation. So I am stuck in this situation until I have a way out. So that was that until my first hospitalization, and got out of that situation. And later on, yeah, later on, it became whenever the whole situation that just passed with like the government Supreme Court decision thing passed. I was trying to discuss that with my older brother, which turned into a massive argument. I let my older brother know that I had been in situations before with like domestic violence and yeah, all the BS. And he's like, well, you could have left at any time. And I'm like, no, I couldn't have. Like, the person I was in a relationship with threatened to unalive themselves if I wanted to leave. And he's like, well, that's not your fault, and you shouldn't have to take that from them. You should have called someone and got a ride back to mom's house and like came back home because you could have walked out that door. I'm like, no, I couldn't. Do you understand what I am saying? There are some women that are in situations like that with all this BS going on. that cannot leave those situations because it's not in their control to leave them. And he's like, women can leave at any time. I'm like, are you dense? Do you have a college education? I know you had 3 years of college, but are you serious right now? He's like, well, even in those situations, they should still keep the kids. And I'm like, are are you are you kidding me right now? And he's like, well, those kids deserve life. And I'm like, that woman in that situation deserves life. That kid is not even born yet. That kid does not need to be born into the situation. That is unsafe for both of them. He's like, well, that kid deserves life, and the mother should find a way out of that situation. And I'm like, are you are you listening to yourself? You're supposed to be my older brother, someone I look up to, and you are spouting all this stuff. And I even told him, like, what if the mother's life is in danger? What if she's going to, like, not be alive because of this situation with having a child? Like, is that okay for that child to live and her not live? And he said that, like, that baby's life is important, and that if the mother ends up having to pass to provide life for that baby, that she was doing a good thing for that baby to give it a life. And I'm like, are you listening to yourself? Are you seriously listening to yourself? Like, what the fuck? And um just basically, it was not a pleasant situation or conversation to try and get into with him. And I said, what if I ever, on some miracle of life, because it's not even possible for me, but like, if some miracle happened and I apparently was going to die because of having, like, that kid, and I needed to get, like, a procedure done to save me, would you still want that kid born? And he's like, yes. I love you as my sister, and I would really like you to be able to live too. But if it came down to it, between that baby living and you living, it's sad to see mothers pass and all, but that baby's life is important. And I'm just like, I had no words at that moment for my older brother at the time. I'm like, are you, are you, are you fucking kidding me? You're my older brother. You are literally someone I grew up with, that I trusted, that I loved as a brother, and was willing to protect and make sure you were okay. And if it came down to it, you would choose that baby's life over your own sister. I can't I can't even talk to you right now. I can't even. He's like, well, I don't want this situation to escalate further, so let's just change the subject and drop all the bull crap topics with government, because it's a good thing that that law passed. And I'm like, I can't. I'm hanging up. I cannot talk to you right now. Like, this is not okay. This is just, like, my whole aspect on how my older brother was a good guy. It just it shattered in that moment, knowing that if it came down to it, his response was like, yeah, I would miss you, and yeah, you're my sister and I love you, but the baby's life would be so important, and we would try to preserve that baby's life, and thank you for being able to give them life. And I'm like, I can't, like, I cannot, I cannot even. This is okay with him. This is okay. Like, it was bad. I had no words. Like, after that conversation, I literally broke down crying and yelling and basically falling to my knees and just breaking down, because I just could not comprehend that my older brother said those things to me. And even with situations I had been in, just told me, yeah, you were in bad situations, but some people don't make it out of those situations, and you were able to make it out of those situations, and you could have walked away at any time. And I'm like, I cannot. I cannot even know, like, you, dude, like, I haven't even tried to have conversation with him other than telling him about surgery and stuff. And even with like discussing surgery, my family's response was, "Well, I guess it's good that you never plan to have kids and that you don't need kids." And I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "Well, we didn't need miniature versions of you running around. We can only handle one of you." And I'm like, "That's great." They're like, "You're already mentally unstable. We don't need you to like pass that on to a kid." Okay. Okay. And like kids were never possible for me since I was 6 and had a burst appendix, but even then, like, I would always get told by family, "You don't need to have kids because we can't even handle you being around. Like, what makes you think we can handle another one of you?" And I'm just over here like, "Okay." Yeah, I have family that are like, "I thought you didn't want kids." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't physically want to have my own. That doesn't mean I'm not willing to give love to someone else's like kid and be a parent for them. Like that doesn't mean I'm not willing to like adopt or like try and be there as a parent for someone that needs a parent. That doesn't mean I don't want to be there. Like I can't physically like take care of myself very well, but I don't want to see someone be in a really bad situation and not have a parent at all. And like I don't mind the idea of adoption, but because of me being one, mentally unstable, two, disabled, three, not straight, hey, but and four, I don't care if you're male or female when it comes to like dating or relationships. What you're you, and you that's all that matters. And because I don't have a household that would be supportive of like safe for a child, all those things count as factors against me ever having the eligibility to adopt, meaning that because I am mentally unstable and disabled, I am already like taken out of the equation for ever being able to adopt, like ever. Because with the conditions I have mentally, those are a lifetime thing for me and will never go away, meaning I will never be mentally stable, like in a medical sense. And there's all these people that are like, "But you'd be such a good mom. You could adopt." And I'm just like, "Look, I have looked into it and I literally am not able to adopt in any way, shape, or form. Like it's not eligible for me to do. I am not meeting these qualifications they have for adoption. Like that's not a thing. Not to mention adoption costs anywhere from freaking 9 grand to 25 grand per child. And if you have special cases where the child has special needs, it's up to 50 grand to adopt that child. And people are like, "Oh, adoption's so easy. There's so many kids that need homes, that need a mom, that need like all these home things, but get placed in like adoption agencies, foster cares, and then go through years of abuse. But because someone doesn't meet their qualifications for being mentally stable, not disabled, having a job, being working, not being gay or LGBT, not being trans and stuff like that, because I don't meet any of those like requirements, I'm automatically disqualified forever even considering the option of adoption. And yet because I'm disabled and stuff, I can't even marry someone legally because I'll lose my health benefits and income. And it prevents me from ever being able to be like, "Hey, I can get in a relationship and consider the possibility of marriage." Yeah? Yeah, no. No, I can't. Cuz like the thing with disability is that if you have like a partner that makes more than you do on disability income, or even makes double the amount you do, you automatically lose all your income benefits because they are considered your caretaker. They are considered your other source of income and can provide for you. Even if they can't really actually provide for you financially, the government still sees it as, oh, cool, you have someone to take care of you. Awesome. We don't have to do this for you anymore. And then you just lose everything and rely on the marriage partner. And I'm just like at one point in my life I was like, yeah, that's definitely a possibility for me. I could totally see myself one day being a perfect at-home person. Yeah, that'd be great. And then like get on disability because it's necessary for me medically and all this other stuff, and it's like, hey, do you ever think about this? I'm like, no, no, I can't. Like, I can't. Like I can't think about that possibility because I have so many medical issues that I'm trying to get fixed that losing my medical benefits, I would basically just kind of be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm checking out early. That's my solution." I make jokes, but also sort of not really joking. Like I have very dark humor at times, and some people are like, oh, I could actually, yeah, I think I'll explain it in kind of a story. It was 2021, and it was it, I'm speed running life. Woohoo! No. Um so basically last year in 2021 in the summer was the first art on the bricks cosplay event we had, and I made my whole entire outfit from the game Stella Glow. There's a character I cosplay called Dorothy, and she has like this rabbit hood, carries a chainsaw, has these possessed bunny dolls that you use to attack enemies with, and she's basically a grim reaper with like a scythe that is like a chainsaw and stuff, and she has a very chaotic personality, but she also doesn't know what it's like to feel love and or for someone to be nice to her. So I made out the whole outfit, the hood and everything, and it was like this very heavy, thick material that the hood was made out of. The day of that art event, the temperature decided to be a nice little 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Part of my hood had black wool on the edges. I'm like, got my wig on, full makeup, full cosplay, walking around downtown in my cosplay for the event. This old lady passes by me and goes, "You must be dying in that." And I'm like, I wish. And my friends, they look at me and go, "Harry Pyro, you can't joke like that. Like, people won't get that humor. People don't know your humor." And I'm like, who said I was joking? They're like, "You better have been joking. You're living. Motherfucker, you're living." I'm like, "Yeah, joking." just just over here, totally not in my cards for future. Ugh. But like I make jokes about it, but it's also kind of just a thing of where when you've spent most of your life from like 13 to almost your 20s just thinking of like how not to be here, like you finally get past that and you're finally like almost 30 and you're like, so I didn't think I'd make it this far. I didn't have a plan for this. I didn't really think past this point, so I didn't think I'd make it here. I thought maybe one of those things would have taken me out at one point, but apparently didn't. So we're still here. Um I don't know what my current future plans are for this, cuz like this was not originally planned out. We had like a expiration at like 16, 17 years. Like we're past the expiration date here, and we've got no clue as to why. So like
it's hard whenever you're just like, oh yeah, I've spent so much time planning how not to be here. I don't know how to be here. And I joke about it and try to make light about it, but like, um, I've literally had so much traumatic events and trauma in my life that I have made therapists in my past sessions and therapy appointments go, so tell me a bit about yourself. And then I like info dump all of the events I have been through and like all the traumatic stuff I have been through. And they're like, they kind of set their clipboard down and are just like, okay, first of all, no one should have had to go through that much stuff in the amount of time that you have. And it's just kind of continuing. Like, have you ever had a moment you felt safe? And I'm like, are you being legitimately serious? Or are you actually asking me this? Or are you joking because you know I haven't been? Like, what we got here? They're like, okay, let me rephrase that. Have you ever had a moment where you felt mentally stable? Okay, again, are you asking me a trick question here, Doc? Okay, let's try this. Let's try a different approach. Have you ever had a moment in your life where something bad didn't happen to you? Doc, do you just have like trick questions on hand for this session, or are we actually asking legitimate questions here? Like, I'm not fully comprehending that if you're being serious. Like, what are you asking? Well, I'm asking, have you ever had a moment that has resulted in like positivity, happiness, or like prolonged exposure to well treated behavior, or loving engagement from a family member or people around you growing up? Doc, are you okay? Again, do you have a like a rephrase of this question to make it to where my brain comprehends what you are trying to ask? Okay, so okay, let's address some of the things you've been through. So you've been through a lot. I'm like, nah, I just like info dumped 20 plus years of stuff I've been through on you, and that's took like 2 to 3 therapy sessions just to dump all that on you. Like, what do you mean that's a lot? Well, um, I don't really have words to describe your situation. Just that I'm sorry. And I am very sorry you have been through all that stuff. And like, I don't know, just approaching this with you, I feel that if we try to approach your trauma with trauma therapy, you're going to mentally break. Like you're going to not be in a point that we can repair the damage. So I'm I look at my therapist and I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" Well, you see, generally when people and I'm just like, "Okay, but do you have like a way to help me?" So we start like trauma therapy and stuff. And and so my brain thinks there has to be a specific appointment date for a specific therapy and thinks it has to be scheduled out. And so I address my therapist. No, my computer's running on like the Wi-Fi signal because I don't have an Ethernet to my computer currently, but basically I address my doctor, my therapist, and I'm just like, so what day were we doing the immersing into like trauma therapy stuff? Because you said we wanted to start trauma therapy because you felt that I might be ready for it. When were we scheduling that? And the therapist that I looks at me and goes, "Oh, we've already started." Me, motherfucker, what? What? And and the therapist goes, "Oh yeah, see, whenever you let me know that your brain was already processing some of the trauma that you've already been through, and that your brain is already processing this, your trauma therapy has already begun. You're already working through your trauma." Hold on, can you run that by me again? Because I thought we had to schedule this shit out. And the therapist goes, "No, you see, therapy is supposed to be used as a guidance tool. We're here to guide our patients and help them kind of sort things out and process stuff. We're not supposed to do the therapy for you. That's work you have to do on your own, by yourself." Me, having dial up Internet Explorer noises and dial up internet noises run through my head, going, "So you're, let me get this straight, Doc. So you're telling me that trauma therapy wasn't actually ever originally scheduled for a specific date? And I've been anticipating and trying to plan out preparation for when a specific day was going to be trauma therapy this entire time? And now you're telling me I've already started this without it written on a calendar, without me being like, "Oh yeah, let me pencil this in. Yeah, Wednesday at 3 p.m. sounds like a good time to discuss this in a session." But no, the therapist is like, "No, see, you already started processing this and let us know that you were processing it on your own time, in your own like way, and that your brain was already going through understanding what you've been through and processing it. And yeah, you broke down a bit, but you didn't like fully lose your shit, and you made it through that episode, and you're still here." Me, "Doc, are you sure you're not the one that needs therapy at this point? Like, you we you I thought just." He's like, "Oh, I see. So you assume that there was going to be like a specialized therapy for your processing that would be approached with me telling you, here's when we're starting, and here is the day we do this. You were expecting that, correct?" I'm like, "Yeah, because schedules and consistency and doing things on like a scheduling and having them planned out and prepared for, and like preparing in advance for this shit." Well, you see, there never was actually a scheduled date for your trauma therapy. It was never planned out. Doc, are you needing medication? Like, are you good, bro? Like, what in the seven layers of hell shit are you telling me? Well, you see, you've begun your process. You're doing the healing yourself. It's not my job to heal you or fix you. I'm here in case you need advice, in case you need to know what you should do in order to process something that works for you. I'm just here in case you need the support, because a therapist's job is not to be someone you're codependent on. And I'm like, listen, this is news to me, okay? I thought for years, like the past 10 years of therapy, that I was just supposed to, like, go to therapy, talk to the therapist, them give me suggestions, them tell me what I'm supposed to do, and them like have me do all this homework and stuff, and like let me know that here's the step I need to do next, and that here's what I should be doing this day, here's what I should be doing in prepping for next session. Yeah, that I was used to that for 10 years of therapy. And now you're telling me that out the window? You're telling me that now all that, like, that 10, 10 years, okay? Okay, Mr. Therapist person, 10 years of repetitive behavior for therapy with being trained to do things a certain way in therapy. 10 years. Out the window, like, because you're like, oh yeah, it was never our job to do the work for you. It's your job to do the work. And I'm like, I I kept thinking I needed to have someone help me through the work, like that I was supposed to be like, hey, yeah, here's the issues. Can you solve this for me? Like, what should I do? And you're telling me that it's not asking you, hey, here's my issue, what should I do? It's more so, here's my issue, what can I do to do this solving, processing in the moment, and finally work through it. And I'm just like, 10 years, 10, 10 multiple therapists and therapists leaving mid session, like never coming back, like 10 years. And you full circle it back to, oh, it's not our job. Your job is to do the healing process. Your job is to work through your trauma and do the steps by yourself and on your own. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you intentionally mean to break my brain in the session time that we have discussed? Like this stuff that we have addressed? Did you mean to like physically make my brain feel like it's cracking and going like turbo? Did you like I need a moment. And like just like over here and heckin' bamboozled. Like I'm talking to the therapist. Okay, was it talking to the therapist and just I was just like in like a moment of shock. I'm just like all this time for the past 10 years I've had this train of thought that this is how this goes. Here's the routine, here's what we do each session, here's what I dump out on each therapist. And now you're like, oh no no no, see, you gotta do this, and you gotta like actually work on it, work on yourself, process stuff yourself. What in the seven layers of hell crack dip is this? Like what what Dorito fed mindset did you just like try to sprinkle on top of this pizza here? Like what did you just put the spicy Doritos on top of the pizza? Is that what we doing? Like you put the spicy Doritos on top of the pizza and you're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is going to be painful. Enjoy." just just like, "Yeah, spicy Doritos. I can't have spicy food. Oh, well, enjoy the spicy Doritos. I can't have enjoy. Allergies." So so like it's just like one of those things where your therapist throws you for like a loop, just like, I don't know what you mean by that. I think they're referring to the chest area. If that's the case, I'm ignoring the comment. Sorry, I was looking at TikTok stream. Apparently, sometimes I get people that are just like, "Hey, show us the goods," and I'm just like, "Hi, you're creepy. Please leave." Oh, but you have them there. They're right in front of everyone. It's not like you didn't want people to look. I'm like, I really could care less if I have chest or don't have chest, but the reason that you are looking is not my reason for looking, and why the fuck are you looking anyways? Well, you got him out in the open, and you couldn't be respectful for a sheer brief second of your life. Why are you so loud, Salem? Salem, come here, BB. Salem, come here, come here, come here. Where's my baby? There's my baby. Hi, Salem. Hi. Uh, it's like I had one stream. We a bunch of like really ridiculous dudes popped in and they're like, "Hey, are you a double D? What's your size? Blah blah blah," and like harassing in the comments. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna like respond to them. No, I'm not a double D, but it's none of your business. I've had reduction before. At least I'm not a 44J anymore. Just like the just rude ass comments, and one of my mods was in the chat and they were like, "Hey, be respectful or leave, like you don't have a right to ask them those questions." And they made rude comments towards my mod who has been a friend of mine for a while, and they made rude comments as to, "Oh, you know you want them too," and he just left and told me, "Hey, they're being ridiculously rude tonight, and I'm sorry that you're going through that." And I'm like, hey, I'm just ignoring this at this point. Like, they're gonna be creepy, they're gonna be assholes. If I don't pay attention to them, they can fuck off. Like, the mod didn't even want to deal with this shit because they were just being ridiculous. I've had a lot of inappropriate comments, and like, even on like dating sites and stuff, I've had inappropriate comments about like people being like, "Oh, but what if you have a partner that's like wanting things? You're gonna help them, right?" I'm like, it is not my job. You have literally dealt with that for years on your own. You're a fully capable individual. Last time I checked, both your hands still work, don't they? Yes, good. Oh, we don't actually meet IRL, so that's fine. Like, I don't have to help you. I am not required to help you. And you're a big boy. You're grown, right? You've taken care of yourself for so long. You can do it again. Just like, I am not dealing with your shit. Just do it yourself. Like, not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not my appendage. Have fun. Take a long hike. Just go far away. Like, it is not my issue. Like, people are gonna be ridiculous, and my response is, I am not required to help you with anything. That is literally not a job of a partner. Like, it is not my responsibility to do anything. Like, I am not legally obligated to do it even if I don't want to. Like, there's consent in everything. Consent is key in anything. Hello. Oh, but that's not fair. Everyone needs help. I see. I see. Your mom didn't love you enough. So now you ask other people to do it for yourself. Hmm. I'm not the one with mommy issues here. Not my circus, not my monkeys is the best saying. It's like, that is not my circus, that is not my monkeys, I do not have to corral that, that is not attached to me, I am not feeding, nor providing, nor supporting that, and you are not providing, feeding, supporting, or other to me, so not my circus, not my monkeys. Like, when people try to comment on, "Oh, you should dress a certain way because you're this," it's like, I am literally not having to listen to your opinion because, 1, you're not my partner. 2, you're not an important person to me because you literally are not a person that is in my life. You're a random person and you have not interacted with me in any way, shape, or form other than this. And you're not feeding me. You're not providing for me. You're not supporting me. You're not financially supporting me. So I'm sorry, but your opinion has been cast to the don't call list, and I believe you're now listed as a spam caller. Yeah, okay. It's like, I am not going to deal with the bullshit because nope. Like, I've put up with enough bullshit in my life that I'm just like, yeah, I don't have to put up with bullshit if I don't want to. Like, that has been one thing I've been trying to remind myself is, hey, are they your partner? No. Are they providing you food? No. Are they giving you comfort or, like, reassurance in any way, shape, or form? No. Are they financially supporting you? No. Do you have to listen to them? No. Then why are you listening to them? Don't ask me this. Peer pressure. Have a people pleasing tendency due to trauma. But, like, a lot of people have self entitlement. Yeah? Yeah, a lot of people do. Like, I've had people hop into, like, chats or stuff and be like, well, I am a wealthy individual and I think you're attractive, so you should message me. Like, yeah, message me. I'm going to pester you until you message me because I'm attractive. I make a lot of money and you're lucky enough to talk to me. I'm like, I'm lucky enough not to talk to you. Like, your financial power, your power dynamic, your attractive qualities, your being a nice looking person or a nice guy, that does not entitle you to, like, a conversation with me. Like, that's what I hate about some people. They're just like, I gave you the time of day to tell you you were attractive, so you should go and help me out. And it's like, oh, I see. So you've got a basic caveman principle going on here. Woman pretty, I provide compliment, get lots of respect. Yes, yes. Ah, I see. Last time I checked, this is 2022. We have evolved past this stage. We have learned about basic needs, basic respect, humanity, human decency, boundaries. Oh my god. And that's one important thing. Oh, maybe you've never heard of it. Consent. Like, that is my viewpoint on it. It was when someone's being like, I'm entitled to this. Okay. Let me transfer you over to a line with a physician that gives a fuck. Hello. Like, I had one person trolling in one of my streams and chats that was like one person was trolling and streaming and like trolling in my stream and chat and stuff, and they were like, you're fatherless, you don't have a father. I'm like, yeah, thanks for reminding me. I did grow up without a father till I was about 15. No, you're not bugging me. I like having conversation with people. It helps, like, helps things. So it's actually nice to conversate with people. But, like, this person entered and is like, you're fatherless, you're a furry, so you're fatherless. And I'm like, well, yes, I'm a furry. I find no shame in that. I support charities and good causes and like having a cute character that's a furry anthropomorphic character that I designed. Like, I have this character. Just kind of, let me. Finnick. Like, That is my Sona, is a little finnick fox. And like they're like, you're fatherless because you're a furry. I'm like, okay, I'm a furry, yes. I'm fatherless, yes, because I've literally not grown up with a dad, but thanks for pointing out the obvious. Yeah, it's Furry. Um and so basically they were like trying to throw insults and I'm like, well, last time I checked, I am still alive and I'm a fighter and I will defend myself despite all your rude comments. They're like, what are you fighting, diabetes? And I was like, oh, looky there. You've achieved a golden ticket to the Banhammer. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? You're just now blocked from my stream? Yeah, I'm not dealing with your bullshit. like, because I'm heavy set, they're like, would you fight in diabetes? I'm like, I literally cannot eat desserts. I can't have sugar most of the time. And yes, I like to bake. I like to cook. But most of the things I cook and bake, I cannot eat, but I like to make for my friends. And they're like, well, look at you, you don't even look like you get off the couch. I'm like, I actually move around daily. I bike ride an average of 4 to 6 miles each time I bike ride. I have literally biked 8 miles in a day and didn't break a sweat. I have biked 6 miles in a day. In fact, most of last week, Monday was a bike ride of 6 miles. Tuesday, bike ride 8 miles, and then the next day, 4 miles of bike riding. And I'm just like, this is not really a big deal for me to bike. Oh, man and bro are fine. My pronouns are they them, and me and my younger brother, we get along. Me and my older brother, we're not so much on good terms right now. But my younger brother and me used to always use the terms bro and dude growing up, so it was just kind of neutral pronouns for a lot of the time we were growing up. Never referred to me as she, her, or sis. It was always like, dude, come look at this. And like, bro, check this out. And I'm like, yeah, sure, bro. What you got? He's like, dude, check this. Check these people. This is Team 4 Star, and they're doing like an abridged series. And I'm like, abridged series? What's an abridged series? He's like, so like, you know the animes how they normally are in the episodes, and you've seen the episodes with me, like, right? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen the episodes. Why does it not? Why is this not what they said during the episodes? Okay, so these are what we consider, like, you know how people make parodies of stuff like with the Minecraft songs back in the 2010s, 2015, like the Minecraft parody songs when Minecraft was really big and coming out. Yeah, but Minecraft's still big, but what's your point? And it was like around 2016 he's showing me what like the abridged series were, and I'm like, okay, these are great. These are great. Like these I don't know why, but I don't want to stop watching cuz they're entertaining. He's like, dude, you think that was funny? Like, you think Dragon Ball Z abridged was funny? Check this one out, Helsing abridged. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then it gets to one of the scenes in Helsing abridged, and I'm like, well then, 2 words, ghost stories. I haven't actually seen Ghost Stories. Um, I did watch part of one of the Junji Ito, however, Ito, how do you pronounce the guy's name? One part of one of his anime things he did, it was the town with no roads where all the houses were connecting. I only saw like the first part of it today, and I'm like, why have I not watched this creator before? Like, oh, it's ridiculous. If you want some ridiculous animes, I would suggest like Gintama. I watch both English dub and English sub. I have done that for years. I actually have like a list that I've been trying to keep track of. I can list off 126 different animes I have remembered that I have watched out of last count, both subbed and dubbed, and any and all anime, including the Americanized versions and not safe for work. I have watched a total since childhood of 500 animes in counting. I'm still trying to keep track of it. I was very big on watching anime in school and like I watch. I started out watching the subbed anime before I watched the dubbed, and the first dubbed animes I watched were Digimon, Pokemon, and Inuyasha. And then I got into other ones like Bleach, Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, One Piece. Uh, like one summer, one of the months, my mom had just put on one of the animes to binge while she was looking for a job, and she chose One Piece. And my younger brother like puts the One Piece dub on, and I'm just like, we're watching all of this, like, how long will this take? And he's like, well, there's over 500 episodes. I'm like, excuse me? Well, One Piece is a very long anime. I'm like, how long of an anime is this anime? Well, I don't have all the dubbed anime episodes. What do you mean you don't have all the dubbed anime episodes? Well, I've got like these box sets, but we do not have all the dubbed anime, as in they still have ones they have not dubbed episode wise for American release. I'm sorry, how many episodes are in this anime again? Well, technically, we've got like 500 episodes we're watching here, but there's close to 900 episodes in counting, and they haven't even finished the series. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, can you run that by me again? They haven't even finished the series? This fucking shit's longer than Naruto. Like, One Piece is longer than Naruto, and I'm like, well, I mean, Bleach had a lot of episodes, and I ended up watching all of like the Bleach episodes I used to watch on the old like Saturday night, late night, 1 to 3 in the morning Toonami. Hello, this is what was his name? The guy, what was his name? He had the space helmet. I'm trying to remember. The robot dude, like, what was his name? His name. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Hold on. Toonami. Tom. Okay. Okay. Hi, this is Tom, and you're watching Toonami. Next up on tonight's episode at 3 a.m., it is Bleach. And the next episode, we find out in the final arc, and I'm just like, well, yeah, I'm staying up. I'm staying up. It's a weekend. We got this. Just got off work. This is fine. This is fine. like, like taking a nap after work, waking up to Bleach at like 3 in the morning. I'm like, is anyone actually up at this time in the morning just to watch anime? Like 3 a.m. watching Bleach after Cowboy Bebop comes on? Like, like you've got Cowboy Bebop coming on, then you had Bleach, then after Bleach was Naruto, then after Naruto was freaking Dragon Ball, and then it's like, oh, by the way, it's now Sunday morning and I'm signing off for the night. This is Tom and you're watching Toonami. Stay tuned. And I'm just like, hold on, what time in the morning did you say it was? like, um, it was kids with insomnia as best friends. That's fair. So like, I I was just like watching the Bleach, and around, I believe it was 2012, Bleach finally aired like its final Toonami episode on like Toonami on the Saturday night. Like they had a 2 hour Bleach special for the final arc thing, final chapter of Bleach. And I was like, hold on, wait, what? Final episode? So I like finished the final episode of Bleach, and then at the end of it, I'm just like, wait, hold on, this is it? That this is how it ends? This is how it ends? Oh hell no! There better be more. There better be more. No, 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 you're not done with the anime. Where's our next fucking chapter? Where's hmm. I'm not a satisfied customer here. You let like make the anime longer. Like you hear there's supposed to be a new Bleach, and I'm like, actually I have not heard about it. I know there was so I don't know if you watched Fairy Tale, like the when Fairy Tale ended and stuff, they came out with a new anime that was kind of based off of Fairy Tale with some of the characters called Eden Zero, I believe. I started watching part of that and I noticed the character in Eden Zero and I was like, "Hey, that's Happy. He's from Fairy Tale." And they're like, "Yeah, Happy continued in the series Eden Zero because it's a time after like the Fairy Tale arc and stuff." And I'm like, "Wait, so this is the same place as where Fairy Tale takes place?" And then they're like, "Yes, it was created by the same artists who made Fairy Tale." You're just like, what? Hold on. So you're telling me that all these different arcs in Fairy Tale that take place, and now there's this? Like, we're on to Eden Zero, and I haven't even, like. Okay, so Eden Zero, first episode, I'm just like watching it and watching my roommate like do it, like watch the episode and stuff, and then I see like part of this, and I'm like, what the heck? And my roommate goes, "Oh yeah, this guy, he's not a good guy." I'm like, "I can tell. I can tell. This is I don't like what he just did to like those characters. Is this Fairy Tale? No, but it was created by the people who made Fairy Tale. Okay, this is a little bit darker than Fairy Tale. Yes, because it takes place in the same universe as Fairy Tale, but further on." And I'm like, look, you're throwing my brain for loops because this character's in Fairy Tale, but is also in this one. Something ain't making sense here. I'm confused. But the official October 22 premiere date of the upcoming Bleach project was revealed in the trailer that was released in December 2021. The Thousand Year Blood War, December 2021. Thousand Year will premiere on TV Tokyo in October 2022, with Viz Media premiering the show in English July 5th, 2022. I know that some of Viz Media's productions got put on hold because of the pandemic and studio things going on with some of the people and artists that are in the studios, like how not being able to be in a public like setting with other artists working on this and voice actors being able to work in their normal places because they were having to do it from home. I know that a bit of the Viz Media, the bit of Funimation, and a few other studios got like put on hold because of all the stuff going on with projects and like trying to get like everyone's health under control and make sure that the voice actors are not in danger, make sure that a lot of things. But there's also voice actors that they're just doing their job voice acting, but their character has gotten so much hate in like a specific anime that they have received like notes and threats and stuff in the mail and stuff. And it's like, look, this voice actor is just doing their jobs and like and and making a voice for a character to be portrayed. It's their job to sound bad. They're not a bad person because they sound bad. This is their job. But some people take the anime and the character so seriously that they believe that that voice actor that does that character, that's how they are as a personality for them. That's how they are as the voice actor. And it's like, um, they're people just like me and you, but they like to do voices and like to be devoted to their job and give a character personality. It's part of acting because voice actors are still actors and actresses. And like for me, my younger brother, he loves voice acting. He wants to be a voice actor one day, but he doesn't stream on Twitch anymore. Me and him used to always grow up practicing voice acting stuff because he wanted to go into voice acting. When I took him to conventions, he loved meeting the voice actors. He wanted to go into voice acting so bad, so we'd practice together. He would do Shaggy's voice, Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He would also do like Rick and Morty voices. He would do different voices, Stitch, different. all these different voices, and we would like practice together and do like lines, random improv lines to practice with. And I'd just be like, "Yo, dude, did you hear that? They're telling us stupid." He'd be like, man, I know they call us stupid, but it's not bullshit. And like it was just kind of back and forth banter and fun that we'd have fun with. And I'd be like, "Hey, dude, the colonists told us that all the experiments escaped." What? The experiments, they escaped. What do you mean the experiments escaped? They went AWOL. They went very AWOL. Okay, listen, Stitch. I don't know if you're like harder to like understand than Donald over here. And you got like Donald's voice going, and I used to be able to do it. I'm trying to. Okay, kind of messing that up, but basic point is Stitch is easier to understand than Donald, and like sorry if it sounded loud and demonic. I am very sorry about that. But far closer than I could do. But like we used to practice voice acting for fun. It was something we did. And just kind of different voices. And one time on Discord with friends that I was just meeting for the first time on a Discord server, I decided I'm going to do a bit of voice throwing in the chat. And so I hopped on the chat and was like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" They're like, "Oh, not bad. It's a good night. Getting close to New Year's." And I'm like, "I could sound like I'm on helium, but I actually don't have a balloon near me. What do you mean?" So I go like, "You know that voice that you could do when you're really on helium, but you're not really doing helium, but you did your voice up really, really high, and you sound like on helium, and you sound like a chipmunk." And they're like, hold up, do you have a literal helium balloon next to you that you're doing that with? And I'm like, no, it's called voice acting. You should try it sometime. I my younger brother and me and stuff, like um not only the helium voice, but sometimes just for fun, when I used to read directions to my friends in the car before we had GPS on the phone. I know I'm old, please don't judge me. Uh, basically, they gave me directions as to where we are supposed to go, looking up before GPS, like automated things, were a thing for some of the phones we had at the time, even though we had smartphones, but I was too broke to afford one. I looked up the directions, and we had like this pizza in the back of the car, and I looked at the pizza, I looked at them, and I'm like, "I'm gonna eat this pizza." They're like, "Dude, you sound stoned." I'm like, "No, I'm hungry, man. I just want pizza." They're like, "Dude, we gotta wait till we get to the house." And so we did that, and they're like, "Are you sure you're not on anything?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I don't do anything." They're like, "You sounded like really, really just sounded a little," and I'm like, "I'm not." And they're like, "Okay, but some of the art you draw." And I'm like, "Hey, my art, leave that out of this. That's neither here nor there." Um, so on the way, like back to the house, they're like, "So we need directions, and we need you to give us directions." And I'm like, "Okay, I will give directions, but I'm warning you, it might like surprise you as to how I give directions." And so they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, You'll see. You'll see." So um they gave me the directions, and I'm like, "In 100 feet, turn left ahead." And then they're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Sorry, it's just how I read directions." And they're like, "Okay, so we've turned left. Keep going straight for 400 feet, then turn right." And they're just like, "Are you sure you're not AI or a robot?" And I'm like, "I mean, I have metal in my head, but I'm not a robot." Okay. "After the stop sign, continue on the road for 3 miles. Then you will reach your destination." And like, my friends are like, "Dude, that is like creepily, like scarily robotic and monotone. Like, why do you do that?" I don't know. It's just how I read the directions. Okay, can you read the time on the dashboard? It is 11:59 p.m. The weather forecast is 69 degrees and rainy. Just like that was just kind of like what I did. And I had different voices that I would do for different things. And it was something me and my younger brother loved to practice, was just doing different voices. And I still do that sometimes with directions. And like people are always like, do you just like practice random voices for fun? I'm like, oh no, man, do I practice random voices for fun? It's like I gotta have character personalities if I'm doing a skit. Like like even in theater class in school, the teachers were like, "Well, I know you memorize all the lines, but we feel that there's other students that'd be better qualified for these parts and that they would fit the spotlight better." And I'm like, but I've got all the lines memorized, like memorized down to like when, where, how, and like what I'm supposed to do. Okay, but that wasn't your job. That's their job to memorize stuff. Okay, but I'm supposed to read over the lines and know when I'm supposed to do things. So how am I not supposed to remember like all the lines? Well, don't do that. Don't memorize all the That's hard, okay? Like I can't just not memorize the lines in this play. And they're like, well, you're on curtain duty. You're supposed to pull the curtains and close the curtains after each scene. That's your job. Being a stagehand, that's your job. Painting the backdrops, that's your job. But doing the acting, or memorizing the lines, that's not your job. Okay, but you don't understand. I really, really wanted to have a part in this play, and I memorized and worked really hard to be part of the play. Oh, you're still part of the play, and pulling the curtains is very important. I feel like that's utter bullshit. But sure, let's go with my job is important. So, like, I had all these lines memorized, and I was so excited about the play and stuff. And just the teacher's like, well, we feel there's better people suited for the parts than you. And I'm like, I have practiced night after night. This is fuck you. Like I was so upset at the teacher's decision because I'm like, I worked really hard. Well, you can work really hard on painting the backdrops. So like people is ugh, people are people. I mean, I stopped writing poetry and songs after high school because in high school, apparently, they got me sent to the guidance counselor in school. They're like, yeah, we just have a little bit of concern about the poems you wrote in English class. What about them? Well, we feel that, your poetry is a bit, emotional and very, concerning. Concerning, emotional. It's poetry. It's supposed to be, like, expressive. Hey, Tezzy. Hi. I think it's Tezzy. Was it? It's T. Is it Tezzy or? Oh, love you too. Um, I was just like ranting, rambling, doing random voices because me and my younger brother used to practice like random voices and stuff, and how like when I'd give directions, I'm like, in 13 feet, turn right ahead. In the next turn, continue straight for 400 feet. And oh, tease. It's like tease, tease. Okay. That's what, okay. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce it for a bit. Like, and like doing voices where like a lot of people have um thought that I was on helium because I joined like a Discord at one point, and when I was starting out meeting people, I was like, I could sound like I was on helium right now, but I don't even have a balloon near me. They're like, what do you mean? You can sound like you're. I'm like, that voice that people do when they're really high on helium, but they don't actually have a helium voice. But this is the helium voice, and I'm not actually doing a balloon right now. And they're just like, holy shit, man, are you sure you don't have a balloon near you? I'm like, I don't. Here's a picture of what's around me. No balloon. Okay? But then how did you I'm like, voice acting's a bitch. Just like I mimic voices because me and my younger brother, we used to practice voice acting because he really wanted to be a voice actor. So it was fun and I like to help him out. And so I would experiment with different voices, kind of like, it seems to me that all the experiments have escaped. I'm the last one standing. Jumba! Jumba! What? Jumba! It's your Jumba! What? What do you mean they escaped? You could, catch. Catch this. Catch it. I'm not catching that. Just like, you could do a good Pikachu. I don't know if I could do a good Pikachu. Gotta try it. Let's see if I could try Pikachu. Pikachu! Pika Pika! Pikachu! I guess that's close enough to what I could do. I'm not sure if that was close enough to Pikachu, but I tried. I attempted. Um, I used to also practice voice acting for like whenever I would cosplay um, different characters. Whenever I was cosplaying, I would also try to like do the voice impressions of the character sometimes, or practice for whichever character I was cosplaying, and I've done that for 10 years. It was fun one year when I cosplayed Grell from Black Butler, and I had these like cardboard scissors I covered in aluminum foil, and I was like, "Oh, bossy, did you miss me? They took away my death scythe again. Oh, they hate me. They really hate me, but I love them. Bassy, Bassy, give me your children." Grell, last time I checked, children were not possible for a mixture of us. One, we both do not produce the anatomy to. I would have your babies if I could. You lucky hell demon, you sexy hell man. And it's just like, Grell, control. What? He looked at me. He looked at you. I love him. You just met him in the manor, and now you love him? You barely know the guy. He's from hell. That's all I need to know. He's a demon, a sexy demon. Bro, there is a line. There's a line. Control your female urges here, okay? Like, Grell, we need to have a talk. This talk is over the topic of consent. Consent? Don't you know I reap souls for a living? Darling, where's the consent in the afterlife with them? You think they wanted to be here? Grell, we need to have a talk. Oh, a talk. A talk. Oh, am I in trouble? Grell, you're making this awkward. You're making this very awkward. I can't look at you. Don't worry, darling, and a lot of people can look at me, and I get that response a lot. If I told you about every encounter I had. Grell, safe for work. Tone it down. just like just like See, I have a butler. I acquired him when I was young. Master, you acquired me a year ago. I acquired him when I was much more naive. Master, you are very naive for a 13-year-old. Shut up. Just like CL and Sebastian, just like two of the cosplays I have done, and just CL being like, now, as I was stating, I acquired a butler. He's a demon butler, but he gets the job done. Didn't come at a great cost, only my soul. Master, I get to eat your soul. That was part of the contract. Do you understand what that fully means for you? I don't care. I'm getting revenge. I'm Squishmallows. Yeah. Let me go and turn the thing. Wacha! Squishmallows. They're the ones I stuffed. And then, Salem, what are you doing back there? Salem, what are you doing? Oh, you flopping. Yeah, Salem's my black cat. So Salem's just in the background. He's just like, I'm flopping here. I think yeah, Mystic's right there. She's my gray cat. She's like over. There's Mystic, but yeah, it's like I get sidetracked, so it's not really. I mean, Mystic is a girl, but she is loafing. They're both fixed. They loafing. I need to save these as a sci file before I lose all progress. I never actually saved these as a sci file. I saved them as PNGs. Rip. So, but yeah, like I do random tangents sometimes, and sometimes my older brother and my younger brother, we'd all get into like this like comedic thing growing up where it's like, sir, the peasants are revolting. Of course they're revolting. Have you seen what they're wearing this year? That is so last year's fashion. No, sir, I mean they're rebelling. Oh, well, in that case, I now pronounce you king. Sir, what do you mean? Well, it's your problem now. Bye. It hops out the window. It's like, did you just abandon your duties as a like a? I haven't gone to many cons this year. I went to one. I tried to approach it. I think it was in March, no, April or May. I went to April. It was in April. I went to a con here locally, and it was a smaller con, and basically it was my first one since 2018. And 2018, I had a really bad meltdown and didn't fully understand like autistic meltdowns and why I got overstimulated. Nice talking to you as well, Kevin. Have a nice night, and I hope that to see you in future streams. Have a great night. But like, I haven't been to conventions in a while. It was just mostly just social anxiety for me. I love cosplaying, and I have loved cosplaying for 10 years and making my own cosplays most of the time. But I mostly made my own cosplays for a lot of years because as I kind of got heavier set because of my thyroid not working properly and PCOS issues, basically it was hard to find cosplays in my size due to me being 4'9" and plus size clothing and being short does not exactly comprehend in the fashion industry as well as you think it would. Like I um have been making a lot of my own cosplays whenever I can't find ones in my size or one people that do custom work because one time I tried to custom order a costume for Nekopara cosplay like 5 years ago. And so I contacted the seller over across in Malaysia and stuff because they had like costumes on their site and they all looked really good, well made, really good seam work. And so I contacted them like, hey, yeah, your thing said that you do custom work, that you take people's measurements. So I paid. Here's my measurements. Here's like all the factors you needed for the customizing. I hope that helps. Yes, this helps. This is wonderful. We will contact you when we have made the progress on this costume. And like next day, or like a few hours later, actually, because it was late at night, they contact me in an email and say, our seamstresses took in your measurements for the costume, and your costume was so disproportionate and uneven that it was ugly. And people your size should not cosplay because we want to make pretty costumes that will be well known for, and your costume would give us a bad image. We do not need people your size cosplaying in our costumes. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? Sorry, but we will refund you. Our seamstresses tried to work on the costume, but your size is not our specialty. You literally have custom sizing listed on your site. Yes, when the custom sizes have the proportions that are evenly distributed for a plus size individual. You are not plus size, you are ugly. I'm just like, cool, I'm making my own costumes from now on. Fuck you. I will not be contacting your company ever again. So, yeah, that's some of the discrimination that I've gotten when trying to order custom cosplays or like trying to contact sellers about custom work is whenever I send in my measurements, they're like, "Oh, what's your weight? What's your height? What's all your measurements?" And I'm like, "Well, I like my costumes to be loose fitting, so most of the measurements are kind of like not very form fitting because I have self conscious issues with costumes and them being showing off shape and stuff. So here's my measurements to a loose degree, but like only a couple inches loose. Like my thing with cosplay is just have fun. If you have a character you like, cosplay them. If it's a character that most of the fandom's going to be like, well, you need to know this character, you need to have respect for the character, you need to actually know their backstory, watch the anime, play the game. I'm like, I understand your devotion and I understand the concerns that you have, but I also want to just enjoy a character and just cosplay them because I've done my research via not just watching or playing the game or watching people play it or watching an anime or something. I want to connect with the character that I cosplay and actually like if I like how the character looks, I read about their backstory, I read about the information on them and what their personality is like, and if it matches up, I'm just like, hey, they sound fun to cosplay. That's fine. I'll do that. I'll have fun. And then I have people that will approach sometimes and be like, hey, you're cosplaying this one character. So it's so cool whenever this and this and this happened to this character, but sad when this and this happened. And I'm like, I actually didn't know that about the character. Oh, why are you cosplaying them? Because they had a really cool outfit and a nice personality and just kind of looked cool enough to cosplay and were kind of like a challenge project for me to try and see if I could make something like that. Oh, well, that's totally disrespectful to all the fandom and fans in this fandom. I'm like, your fandom sounds toxic. Like, I understand that there are people that I try not to be disrespectful of fandoms and stuff, and I have lots of characters I would like to cosplay eventually. But, like, some people are like, well, you shouldn't cosplay them if you don't know enough on the character. Okay, so why don't you cosplay? Well, I need to find the right character to cosplay, and it has to be one that I connect with. Okay, but when are you going to do it? When I have time. You have time right now? No, I don't. Okay. But sometimes people can be toxic with stuff like any fandom, no matter who it is, no matter what they like, whether it's My Hero Academia, furries, whatever. Like, I'm a furry, but there's still people that are like, oh, what about the furries that are into blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that is a small fraction of problematic furries in the furry fandom, but that's not all furries. Not all furries like that type of stuff. Well, have a good sleep, and I'm glad you had fun at the convention. And try to get good sleep and good rest. I am glad to see you popped in tonight. Oh wow, it's almost 2 in the morning. Oops. I should probably stop my Twitch stream. I got sidetracked by a lot of things. I will try. I'm going to try and end my Twitch stream for now and then kind of chill on TikTok for a little bit. My cats are like, we're asleep, you should be asleep. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and end my Twitch stream for tonight. So, everyone that joined on Twitch, thank you for joining. Thanks for the great conversations. Thanks for being a part of the stream. Thanks for the support. Hope to see you in future streams. Feel free to follow for more content in the